Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Hey, the 2024 draft has come and gone, and the Dodgers have found another crop of really talented players. And for the second year in a row, the Dodgers have gone high school for their first pick, and with speed, and with the defender up the middle. Last year, of course, it was Kendall George, the lightning bolt of a center fielder. And then this year is Kellen Lindsay, a young man with 80 grade speed. That is a shortstop prospect. And surprisingly enough, the Dodgers stayed high school with their second pick, Chase Harland. So you had the shortstop with the first pick in Kellen Lindsay. Second pick, Chase Harland, the big third baseman. So you have your whole left side of the infield taken care of. One's a speedster with Lindsay. The second one is a big old boy that can hit the ball a long ways in Chase Harland, a young man with huge potential. And then with your third and fourth picks, you went college and you went pitching. One left-handed being Jacob Wright out of Cal Poly, and then one right-handed being Brooks Auger out of Mississippi State, who actually, by the way, he had Tommy John surgery, but before he did in 2021, I believe it was, don't quote me on the exact year, he actually had a really nice game where he went, I believe, 8 innings in the College World Series. So he has a lot of great experience. And then staying in the college ranks, another shortstop, Elijah Hannan. I have experience with him because Oklahoma State played him earlier this year at Globe Life Field. He got a hit in that game. Very talented young man with a violent swing. He's a kind of a little guy that's not really a little guy because I'm telling you, when he hits the ball, he packs a punch. And I'll go through his swing and all the things that I think is going to set up very well coming through the Dodgers organization. Then another guy in Brandon Tunic, who may be a pitcher, maybe a position player, who knows. He was undefeated on the mound. His ERA was just minuscule. He had a ton of strikeouts. Matter of fact, he had 204 strikeouts in 134 innings, an ERA of just 120. So, and he's left-handed, so we'll see how the Dodgers go. I think most people think he's probably going to be a position player, but we'll see. When you have a left-hander, he was a Notre Dame commit. When you have a left-hander that's that talented, you never turn down left-handed pitching, at least very often you don't. Backing up to Chase Harland, he actually was a University of Florida commit, so we'll see how that goes. So you had Brandon Tunic, and then went back to the college ranks with a just kind of a speedster type center fielder who's been kind of classified as having elite defensive skills in center field. That's been quoted on the Troy University website. That's actually where I got that. A young man, Cole Myers, a left-handed hitter that steals a lot of bases, and he takes a lot of pitches and draws a lot of walks. And then what I think might be the steal of the entire draft with their 8th pick in the 10th round, Moose. Seamus Barrett, who ended up his college career at Loyola Marymount. Big old drink of water, 6'7", with a split finger. So, hey, that is who we're going to cover today. So let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk about the 2024 draft. So who you're seeing here is right-handed hitter, the Dodgers' first pick, Kellen Lindsay, and he is the exact type of player the Dodgers look for. Long and rangy, 6'2", 80 grade speed. And I'll tell you who he reminds me of the most. I know the comparisons are out there of Trey Turner. Yeah, maybe the swings aren't exactly the same. The guy that he reminds me of the most is a young man from a small town in Oklahoma that had a long and prosperous major league career that I actually got to coach in the Sooner State games. Can't remember what year, but he was a wonderful young man and a great baseball player, and that is Jordy Mercer. I'm telling you, I got to coach Jordy at his exact stage in his career right before he came to Oklahoma State, and just the way he fields, the way he looks, the way he runs, the way he throws, just his mannerisms, everything, his swing, everything about what he does looks exactly like Jordy Mercer to me. I mean, it's like Jordy Mercer Jr. So if you're to ask me, hey, who is the closest comp at the major league level, that's who it would be for me in terms of his swing. Very direct swing. Let's go ahead and break this down. Look at this load right here. Watch the hands. They don't move hardly at all. So he loads basically with his lower half, and that's a great idea whenever you're a guy that has speed and you just want to hit the middle to the top of the ball and just run like crazy. See how he's above the baseball there? Now look at that balance. Head is right in the middle of that triangle, and you have that perfectly flat barrel at the top of the zone. And then watch, he cuts across that ball because he is a guy. So most guys, I think what he'll probably learn from here at the professional level is to continue to hit through that ball and eventually lift through that ball. We'll see that in Elijah Hannan here in a minute. But in high school, when you have 80 grade speed in high school fields and high school fielders, you can cut across the ball like this. See how he's cutting across that ball, and then hit a lot of times the bottom of that ball and run as far as you can. Of course, he hit the top of that ball, I should have said. He hit the bottom of that ball and actually hit it over the left fielder's head there, so that's a good thing. But a little bit of a swing, how compact that is, and going back to a swing, kind of want to show you this one more time. Watch how compact, so I talk about all the time as we back this up. Watch his hands, and then look at his front elbow. See, he sets a relationship that is very steep, which means usually that's where the path of the hands are going to go. Watch his hands replace that front elbow. See how his hands are replacing that front elbow right there? So whatever angle you create between your hands and that front elbow, that is the path that your hands, typically speaking, are going to travel on if you have a direct swing and you're not dropping your hands and going around the ball. See how he clips that ball right there, because he's kind of spinning off of that, and that's okay because his mistakes need to be ground balls in high school. But hey, there is a good look at Kellen Lindsay, the Dodgers' #1 pick. So this is Chase Harland, and look at that swing. Wow, look how he stays behind this ball right here, right there. See how he's behind that ball? See how he's tilted back and behind that ball? That's going to create a ton of leverage. And what I really like about his swing is watch how simple his movements are. Just pick up the front foot, put it down, and everything is direct to the ball. But with that simple swing, that's a Jake Geloff type swing there. Even with that simple swing, look how much power this young man generates. I mean, right there. Wow, look at that swing. That is a ton of bat speed for a high schooler, ladies and gentlemen. And there is a slider away that, hey, he takes a big swing, but hey, he don't just like Jake Geloff, that type of swing where you stay behind the baseball. Here's a sideways look. He is going to be able to use the opposite field very well and hit the ball up the middle. And then right here, this is what I'm talking about. Look how simple this is. Okay, see his head? Watch how his head doesn't move. Watch how his hands don't move much at all. Does not even hardly move the head or the hands, and then just picks up the front foot and puts it back down. Now there's heel strike. See the back heel come up, and now look out. Now watch his hands come right through his front elbow. Right here, see that? It's going to go right through the front elbow. See that right there? That means that he has a very, very line drive direct path in terms of his hands. He gets to slot, and then from slot right here, turn the barrel down, typically speaking. But the reason why he's going to be able to hit bombs instead of turning this barrel down to the ball, watch how he lifts through this right here. See how he's lifting through that ball right there instead of turning the barrel down to it. Most guys will let the ball get a little bit deeper, turn that barrel down. Instead, he's going and getting it out front, and he is lifting, and that's why that ball goes a long ways, and that's why Chase Harland, that is a big boy cut right there. This young man has a world of potential. He was a Florida recruit and a young man that was committed to Florida, of which came to Oklahoma State and beat Oklahoma State in a regional. I know just how talented all the players in that program are. Now, here's a two-strike approach. Watch, he doesn't even pick up his feet here. He just lifts the front heel and then puts it back down, spreads out a little bit, and that simplifies things even more. So here is just more simplicity to his swing, hands replacing front elbow, which is a direct path, but yet a world of power. See how he lifts in the front there? And because he's lifting, he actually clips across the top of that ball and hits probably a 715-mile-an-hour ground ball to the third baseman's left. The third baseman needs catcher's gear on that. But this is a young man, Chase Harland, as he gets in the Dodgers organization. Same with Kellen Lindsay. They are going to shape him. They're going to continue to redefine him. And they're going to continue to do that until they find the best version of power. With Lindsay, it's going to be adding power. And with Harland, it's going to be adding maybe bat-to-ball skills to find the exact perfect mix of what makes them the absolute most productive player. Kind of like they've done with Max Muncy, Teo Hernandez, and guys like that. So super excited about the second pick in the draft for the Dodgers, Chase Harland. The first college player the Dodgers took in the draft was from Cal Poly, a left-handed pitcher, Jacob Wright, who's actually from Northern California, at least way far northern than LA, but from the state of California. And this sweeping slider, that one there, that is a huge pitch. As a matter of fact, that slider there that you're seeing, that sweeping slider, was rated as maybe the best single pitch of any prospect in the entire draft. And then that fastball there is about 93. I think it does definitely have room to grow. The interesting part about Jacob Wright at 21 years old is that I think as he adds to that sweeping slider, the Dodgers are going to give him maybe a left turn that adds to that. And the thing about that is when you think about Christian Suarez and even going back to Jeff Belge and Franklin De La Paz and last year Benoni Robles and all of these left-handers, Jack Dreyer, Ben Harris, they are very good at using that four seam and sweeping slider action. Jackson Ferris has a sweeping slider. I know that Justin Robleski can sweep a slider as well. So the Dodgers are going to be very familiar. See how he kind of shapes that a little bit differently. That last one is more curveballish, and that one there is a more sweeper type deal. So that sweeper slash slider combined with that four seam there of Jacob Wright is a deadly combination. And it's going to be interesting to see if he becomes like that two-inning reliever that we see a lot in the Dodgers system, like a Christian Suarez has been, something like that, or is he going to continue to be a starter and use that big pitch mix that he has as far as a low 90s fastball, a change, a curveball that we've seen a couple of times, plus the plus slider. There's the plus slider there, and then there's the fastball, the four seam up in the zone. That's the curveball there. So it's just going to be interesting to see with a fastball, change up, curve, and then also slider, four-pitch mix. And you figure maybe the Dodgers will probably add a sinker to that once they get all of the spin rates and figure all that out, and also to add a left turn to get lefties out. It'll be interesting to see if they do that. But if they do, that would be there's that curveball there. That would be a five-pitch mix. Hard to get to that many pitches in a one inning setting. So we'll see if he stays in a starting setting or if he moves to the pen. But again, a lot of potential for left-handed pitcher Jacob Wright. You're looking at the Dodgers' fourth pick in the draft, and this is Brooks Auger, sixth rounder out of Mississippi State. A young man that is physically imposing at 6'5", that you can see here. Very, very, very competitive. Nice slider there. That's a really nice slider. Got off to a great start in 2022. Then he tore his UCL. Then he had to have Tommy John surgery, and that wiped out the rest of his 2022. Wiped out all of 2023. Finally got back this year and had a really good year. So that fastball you're seeing is going to sit somewhere around 93, but coming off the Tommy John and with the 6'5" frame and with the way the Dodgers are able to maximize velo, I would expect that to bump. I think he's probably going to sit 94 to 96, something like that, before the Dodgers get done with him. He has touched 97 to this point in his career, so there definitely is room to grow with that fastball. And he also has a cutter that you saw right there, a changeup, and a slider. So, hey, this is a young man that also, we talked about his good start at Mississippi State. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Brooks Auger's a young man with a tremendous amount of experience, a young man that has had success at very high levels. And so very excited about the sixth round draft pick. Going to back that up and show a little bit more of Brooks Auger here and some of his stuff. There's one to the bottom of the zone. There's that tight cutter. There's another good fastball, four seam at the bottom of the zone. There's a slider. So you've seen two sliders, a cutter. You've seen the fastball at the bottom of the zone. There's two fastballs to the top of the zone. And then there is a changeup in on the hand. So there's a good look at the stuff at Brooks Auger, the sixth round draft pick for the Dodgers out of Mississippi State. This is Elijah Hannan, and actually had a chance to watch him play at Oregon State at Globe Life Field, as I was talking about earlier, against Oklahoma State. And this young man has a violent swing. He is a guy that is very talented. Anytime you get to play for Oregon State, actually he's from Spokane, went to Washington State out of high school, and then transferred last year to Oregon State. Look at that violent swing there. And what I want to show you here is what I really like about his setup. See how he stays inside that ball there? And right here, see how he's staying in. Watch him pull his hands inside this baseball here. See how he's inside that ball? And he is definitely taking an inside approach to that, to where if he lifts, then he might be able to lift that thing to left center. Now, from this part of his swing to the front, watch how he lifts. See how he lifts at the front? So he's inside to the back. Somebody has really taught this young man how to swing. He's inside and down to the ball, and he is up through it. Wow. That is an impressive swing. That on the back of the zone here, at the back of the zone here, he's going to have a tremendous amount of consistency with hard ground balls the other way, and then really even all the way up to about right, if I can get this to about right, there, well, let me back that up just a touch, all the way to about right there in his swing. Right there in his swing, he's going to be able to hit hard line drives the other way, and then in the front of his swing, he's going to be able to do that and elevate the ball in the air. And then sometimes instead of hitting the ball flush, because he lifts in the front, see how he's lifting in the front there, he's going to clip over a lot of ground balls and hit a bunch of top spin ground balls, which if you hit a ground ball, you want it to be a top spin. That way it gets through the infield a little bit better, like you saw there from Elijah Hannan. This young man also plays the game with a ton of confidence, and his impact on the baseball is significant. I love this guy. He is a very, very talented, very confident young, seventh round, whatever, 220th pick. But he has a lot of experience. He has great impact on the baseball. He's a middle infielder type guy that has a lot of versatility. And so, I think this is a great pickup in the 7th round for the Dodgers and Elijah Hannan. Who you're seeing here is left-handed 2A player Brendan Tunic out of Illinois. He actually is a young man that was committed to Notre Dame. Super pumped he is that he got drafted by the Dodgers. He actually was quoted as saying he can't wait to go buy some Dodgers gear. What you're seeing here is a 6-foot, 190-pounder who does a really nice job of staying inside the ball. And here is him pitching. See that obviously left-handed tail. There is another example of him hitting. So you saw him hit a couple balls the other way. Wanted to show you one here of him pulling the ball. So see how he stays inside the ball there. Everything from there to about halfway through his swing to about right there is going to be line drives to the opposite field gap. You can tell that it's his setup. His goal is to hit that to the opposite field gap, but if you're a little bit early, that right there happens. And because he has lift in the front, just like Hannan, if he hits the ball in the front, he is going to be able to elevate the ball and keep it off the ground. And plus, like I said earlier, he was a very good pitcher with his high school club there in Illinois. So we'll see how he goes. ERA of just 120 and 204 strikeouts again in 134 innings. So this is a very exciting, again, another young high schooler, just 190 pounds. Long ways to go. The Dodgers are going to be able to get him in the system. They're going to be able to add weight. They're going to be able to fine-tune whatever it is they want about his swing and or his motion on the mound, and they're going to be able to mold this guy into whatever they want him to be because he is a great athlete and another guy with a good hit tool that hopefully might have, really above average bat to ball skills. So hopefully this is another example that the Dodgers are emphasizing speed and executing on offense over power. Although, as we saw here, that Brendan Tunic definitely does pack a punch. So this is Cole Myers right here, if I can click play, and this is a young man out of Troy University that just has one of those very simple swings. A young man that has been classified as playing elite defense. But, hey, there's another swing right there by Cole Myers. Now, let me show you this one more time right here as we get into the load. Now, watch this. Okay, he's going to bar his arm out, or his front arm out there, and see how he's going to drop his hand there and then kind of roll that top hand over it, and that's why he hits a ton of ground balls. And like I said, I'm sure he does that because he's left-handed, which gets him closer to first base, and also he can run really, really well. So, hey, there is a good look at Cole Myers, 9th round draft pick, a speedy outfield prospect. Matter of fact, I talked about being classified as maybe having elite center field skills. He posted a 4.42 WAR, which was 7th nationally amongst center fielders. That doesn't come from me. That comes from the Troy website itself. So there you go. There's some evidence as to how good he is. Talking about Cole Myers on defense. This is Seamus Barrett, and this is a young man that I really think is the steal of the entire draft. This is 6'7", and it's coming straight downhill. Look at that left turn. Of course, that wasn't in the strike zone, but you can see how violent that left turn is with the slider of who they call Moose. Seamus Barrett, a young man who ended up his career at Loyola Marymount, or actually originally from Massachusetts. Look at that sinker. So you saw, let me back that up and show you that left turn of that sinker right here. Watch this. Wow, that's a nice pitch. Now that's coming out about 92 to 94. But you know, in the Dodgers lab, that's going to end up 96, 97 at some point. And then another thing that I really like about him, that pitch right there. Let me back that up. That is a split finger fastball. This is Kendall Williams all over again right there. That is and from all the people that I've talked to, there's another one there. About that splitter, they say that it is an absolutely legit pitch. It is absolutely the real deal. They say actually one of the comments from on Twitter was that it basically has knuckleball spin and it's coming from a high slot. So that's a very good pitch. And this is a young man that has good swing and miss stuff, and a sinker that we saw just a minute ago, that's 92-94, a changeup, a curve, and a slider. He also throws a four-seam, so you're talking about a four-seam, a two-seam, a change, curve, and slider. 5-pitch mix for a 6'7" frame who has good experience, great work ethic. I am super excited about Moose, Seamus Barrett. I just can't wait until, I remember whenever Michael Hobbs got into the system, and he was a 10th round draft pick, and he was the out of St. Mary's. He was the all-time saves leader. I remember making the same comment about him, and I still stand behind that Michael Hobbs was an absolute steal in the 10th round. I think Seamus Barrett, you're looking at one of the biggest steals in the entire draft. There's that split finger. You kind of see it coming out of his hand there. I am that high on the potential of this guy, so super excited to get him in the system. So there you have it. There is our coverage of at least the first 10 rounds of the 2024 draft. We may have a different show covering the rest of the guys in the draft as requested. As a matter of fact, probably what's going to happen is we'll cover them in our live shows. So if you have a question about any of the other draft picks, leave it in the comment. I can add them into a show into the future, and or we can talk about them on the live shows. That's probably how we're going to handle the remainder of the draft. There's so many of them, it would take quite a while. Now, I can do, if you would like for me to do shows on every single player that the Dodgers drafted, put that in the comments as well, and I could certainly do that too. But other than that, let me know who you want me to cover. We'll get it done on the next show, and or we'll talk about it on the live show, and we'll go from there. So, hey, again, I hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the 2024 draft. And until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in and say, Go Dodgers.